Hello, my name's Elizabeth Harrin from the Ganthead blog The Money Files, and today I want to talk about cost breakdown structure. You've probably heard about work breakdown structure and product breakdown structure before, but I wonder if you've heard of cost breakdown structure. Effectively, it looks very similar to a work breakdown structure, and you need a work breakdown structure to start with. Take your WBS, your work breakdown structure, and add to each task your estimate of how much you think that task will cost to complete. So effectively, if you add on the values for each of those project tasks, you'll be able to work out at any level exactly how much the project will cost overall. And the great thing about this is that you can add up the costs in chunks. So you could create an overall cost for a work package or for a particular level of task. And the good thing about that is that you can then use that to help influence your scope. For example, if your scope needs to be cut because you don't have enough money to complete everything in time, you can look at your overall work breakdown structure with the costs, your cost breakdown structure, and look at what you could potentially lose. Equally, if you're including a change to the scope of your project, you could look at what elements of cost would need to be changed as a result of adding something new onto the cost breakdown structure. Now, you might be thinking that all sounds great, but how do you add contingency to a breakdown structure that's constructed in that way? You've actually got a couple of options, and Mike Clayton talks about them in his book Risk Happens. I've got that here. He talks about having, there's two ways really that he talks about including contingency in a cost breakdown structure. Either at the level of tasks, so you could either add in contingency for every amount on every lower level task, or you can add it at the top level, or you could add it at a subsidiary middle level on the structure as well. So that was one alternative. But the option I like the best is this, and his recommendation is to add contingency at the level at which the budget will be managed. In this case, in the example he gives in his book, the budget is managed at workstream leader level. So what he's done in the example that he's given here is to add contingency in the cost breakdown structure at the level at which somebody has responsibility for a chunk of work. So he's added contingency effectively to the task that's going to be managed by the workstream leader. And that's given him the opportunity to be able to sort of give someone responsibility for managing a budget and be able to track that and use the contingency as they see fit within the remit of what's on their element of the work breakdown structure. So I think cost breakdown structures could be a really good way to calculate your budget.